Here we go. We're gonna design a t-shirt. I had an idea for a shirt that I've been kind of sitting on for a little bit, or at least for a graphic that I've wanted to do. So I'm gonna go live here on TikTok too. Not TikTok toe, but TikTok also. So we'll go live there. And we're just gonna start in Adobe Photoshop. And I'm just gonna be sketching out my design. Make sure all my tools are set up the way they need to be. And I'm not the best at drawing, but you know, I usually can get by a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of lag here, so you know what I'm gonna do is delete that. What's going on, Boogie Bear Creations? Oh, you know what? I have this smoothing up like pretty high, so that'll usually help. Okay. Now I like to draw with like a bluish color. And let me pull up my reference on my other screen. What are you working on? Here. And I'm streaming on YouTube. You know, so if you want to see my screen, you could go over to my YouTube. It's Odyssey Rock, just like every other account I have on social media. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is already wonky. I've been trying to put up a lot of tutorials and just keep them as simple as possible. Oh, nice. Photoshop is definitely worth learning. If you want to learn how to design, I always recommend starting with Adobe Illustrator, because what's going to happen with Photoshop is you're going to have to learn how to do a lot of things sort of the wrong way, I guess, because Photoshop is great for you know, illustration and photography and a lot of other things, but it's not necessarily geared towards designing just straight graphic design type of stuff. So a lot of times if you want to do something in Photoshop, you need to find a kind of a different way to do it. And if you start in Photoshop, you're probably going to learn a lot of bad habits early on. But it's definitely worth learning though overall. Design banner for my website. Yeah, if you want to learn Photoshop but don't want to invest in buying Photoshop, You could start with Photopea, which is a free online version of Photoshop, photopea.com. And learn the basics and then move on to Photoshop. But anything with like, type and graphics and things that you're going to print, I definitely think that learning Illustrator is the best way because a lot of the concepts carry over to Photoshop. Illustrator, there's a lot of it's pretty technical, so you kind of need to be practicing it all the time to stay up on what you're doing. But like I said, overall, I think if you can get a strong foundation in Adobe Illustrator, then when you really start working with Photoshop, you're going to be much better off. Oh, what's going on, Jason? Yeah, like I said, my drawing isn't my strongest thing, but I can get by a little bit. That's actually, I think, better like this. If anyone has any questions about any of the things that I've been making tutorials on or whatever, feel free to ask anything about, I guess whatever I do, designing and making my own t-shirts and socks and all that. Yeah, I have tutorials on YouTube. I haven't really done much in a while, but that's something I've been getting back to recently. I've been going live more than anything. But now that I have sort of a direction with, the stuff I've been doing and kind of trying to get people up to speed on designing with vinyl cutting in mind, I'll definitely be doing more long form versions of what I've been doing on TikTok on YouTube. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing my basic sketch here in Photoshop, and I'm actually probably going to do most of this design in Photoshop and color it to make it a dye sublimation design, since I haven't done a sublimation design in a while other than socks. And then I'll probably repurpose this graphic actually and use it for socks. So just trying to draw this $sign, and as long as I've been doing anything with lettering, drawing an S is probably the biggest pain in the butt thing for me. I hate, of all the letters, I hate drawing an S. It just never seems to proportion out right for me. It's actually not turning out to be a little better than most, so we'll see what happens. Here. Yeah, see, this is like all wonky, this front part. Graphics, the pen will help if you are drawing, for sure. It doesn't really do, I don't use it very often, like if I'm designing Adobe Illustrator, just making shapes and pulling, Bezier points or whatever with the pen tool. But yeah, you definitely, if you draw a lot, stuff like that, there's no substitute for being able to just draw with a stylus. Yeah, this is starting to shape up a little bit. Oh, that sucks. That'll work. This one gets it close enough from me. So yeah, any questions at all, feel free to ask while I'm here designing. And sometimes I'll do my drawings in Photoshop. A lot of times I use Procreate, but I'm not super like into the drawing on the iPad. Oh, Jason, I'm also streaming this on TikTok, so I'm answering questions from people there too. That actually doesn't look too bad. Huh. Alright, I'm gonna start inking this, I guess. Turn down the opacity here a little bit. And again, if anyone has any questions about designing t-shirts or printing t-shirts or coloring comics, since I color comics too, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Alright, let's see what we're going to ink this with. I probably could ink this in Clip Studio, but I don't really feel like opening up another app. Clip Studio is another really good program for drawing, and there's a whole lot of really cool things that app does with brushes and just some of the options for the tools. I'd highly recommend that if you're serious about doing art. Make sure my tablet's all ready to go. Hey, that's not what I want. I like this, but I think I would like to have a little less taper on a brush like this. Okay, what's going on? Pen pressure. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. I mean, obviously that's working. Okay, there it goes. Alright, try inking it with this. What's going on, Ollie? I'm just trying to design a little something here in Photoshop. I might need to turn the smoothing on because my hand is not steady whatsoever. I don't mind if there's a little bit of jitter on my stroke because, it's hand drawn, so what are you going to do? Doesn't need to be perfect. And I'm using a Monoprice 22-inch Monoprice 22-inch pen display to draw on. I've never owned a Cintiq, and I'm a big believer in like the cheaper drawing tablets. It's not too bad. Usually with my drawing, if I could get to the like not too bad status, then I'm happy. I think this should probably come in here a little bit more. Okay, this one is going to be a pain. Nope. Let's try this. It's not too bad. I'm gonna ink this $sign, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna ink anything else on this, if I'm just gonna go ahead and let the color take care of the rest of the detail, which is probably a better idea since this is gonna be sublimation. And I have a feeling this inking this stupid $sign is gonna kill me. Again, if I could just get this to not bad status, I'll be happy. And if I really wanted to get this technically precise, I'd use the pen tool, but I don't really care on this if it's not perfect. But yeah, lettering by hand isn't always the funnest thing in the world. think I'm gonna fix this curve right here just because I think it's noticeably worse than the rest. Let's hide this sketch layer. I probably could have inked this with something a little thicker, but I have a plan for this, so it might not matter. Again, we'll have to see when we're done. I may re-ink this whole damn thing except for the $sign, which I think that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Make a new layer just in case, but I think this is just a little too, like, I don't know, it needs a little something, so maybe we'll go back and use this tool the way that it is built. I think I want to like the little bit more of like thick and thin in these strokes. Then I could always copy that $sign over. Yeah, I'm already liking this better, but like I said, we'll have to see, I guess, what this ends up looking like in the end. And then once I do this graphic, I'm going to use, like I said, for this design, and I'll probably design some socks around this too, depending on if it comes out the way that I am imagining it in my head. That's too lumpy. I'll fix that. Nope, don't like that. Not bad. Okay, so now I just need to do this little part. And again, I might do some details on a separate layer too, just to see, but a lot of times I just like to let my coloring take care of that. Nope. Nope. God dang. Touch this up a little bit in some of these edges. And again, I don't really care that this is not technically perfect as long as it's good enough. So we'll go back to the layers here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this $, then merge it onto this layer. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is just make sure that I actually like this better. So I'll make a copy of this. And I'll hide that layer, and yeah, that's my drawing layer. That's my first inking layer. And I like this new one, but I might go in and clean it up a little bit here. So again, I'm not the best inker in the world, not even decent at it, but you know, until they invent a tool that'll do it for me, I guess I just got to go in there and make it happen. Let's make a layer. Okay. What the heck did I do? Okay, get rid of these. Alright, so now I'm going to go in here in this layer and just play around and see if we could add some little bit of detail and if it makes any difference at all. And if not, we're just going to stick with what we originally had. Reason I feel like that's wrong. Follow that curve, follow that curve, follow that curve. Put that one maybe. Let's try it one more time here. And this is why I do these little details on an extra layer, because if I don't like it, it doesn't hurt my art at all. Okay, I'm gonna leave this for now. We'll work on the bag a little bit more. And again, if anyone has any questions about t-shirts, printing stuff at home or designing things or whatever, please feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. That's why I went live. I'm designing on YouTube. You can see my screen on there, and you can ask me questions here or there. I think I can fix this. Give this a little more shape. Alright, add a little detail here, and like I said, I'm probably going to fix as many shortcomings in my drawing as I can with some color, but we'll see how that works out. You just never know. I might actually go back in and touch this up a little bit to maybe add like a drop shadow to this thing. We'll see, I missed a little spot there too. That's looking pretty good, I think. And like this inking stuff, like I said, I have such bad motor control skills. I have actual problems with that. So inking is like a nightmare for me. But like anything else, you just keep doing it, and it gets better. And sometimes it just gets better within the session too. And if you want to design or draw or whatever, that's a big, like, most of the battle is just fighting through like the sucking part, which there's a lot of, you know. But the more you learn, the more confident you get. The more confident you get, the more things you're willing to try. And eventually you'll find your way, I believe. Maybe I can move this up a little bit. The other cool thing about doing like this detail stuff on another layer is if I want to draw through my original, it's a little easier to go back and delete things. And like sometimes I might want to get a big brush like this instead of trying to like build slowly. So then what I'll do is I'll just go here, select that, this on contiguous, and that really. Then go back here and delete, except for this one. And the other thing to remember, like if I'm doing drop shadows, is to stay consistent with which side I'm putting things on. So here I can't have a drop shadow over here and then on this side have it over there, because that doesn't make sense. And then trying to keep the size of it consistent, which also can suck. Okay, so here's another case where I would probably rather just use a big brush and then go back after. Let's try this. Get rid of that. that up a little bit again. Okay, this outline looks fatter than that outline, so let's fix that too, I guess. Which sucks because that actually didn't look too bad to me. So I'll just make this a different color and use it as a guide because I actually liked the way that that was coming out. We'll make it lighter. Just see what this looks like compared to this. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna use this as our guide. Not too bad, but I'm gonna redo that. Alright, I think that looks better. Alright, so I think now I'm ready to color. And what happened here was I colored this, I inked this with the pencil tool so everything is hard edged, and that way it makes it a little bit easier to start laying in colors. This one I'll have to do that since it's open. Do that. Then I like to use the hue saturation. And I like to work dark to light usually, so I'll definitely start with this a little bit darker so my shadow tones are in there. We'll add a little bit of a lighter thing here. And then on the money bag, I don't know if I want to make the $ green or color the back. I kind of like green. We'll see how that goes. I could always change that later. Alright, so what I'm going to do is add a new layer, and I'm setting this to hard light. And I'll do my coloring of this in hard light mode, and we'll see how that goes. Now, the thing that is much better about Clip Studio for something like this is Clip Studio has reference layers, and so I could set my flat color layer as a reference layer, and all of my selecting will go off of that layer. But Photoshop, you kind of need to go back and forth, which kind of sucks, but you know, you can only do so much here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of light here. I'll start with this set to normal and pull in a radial gradient. And since I have this on the layer, I could always adjust my colors however I need. And this is just going to establish my light source. And once I have that, then I'll go in with the airbrush tools. Let's start with the soft airbrush and see how that goes. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Hold on, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to clear this out. And then I'm going to add this $ just so it all has the same light, because this is actually supposed to be part of the bag. And then what I'll do here is I'll just go in and color balance the $ thing. So once I'm here, I'm going to use my airbrush. So I'm on the brush tool, and then I have this soft round brush set up. I have it set to screen, and what screen's going to do is it's just going to make it kind of lighter and more saturated every time. Actually, I'm not going to set it to screen. I'm going to set it to normal and do this with color. And this takes a little more time, but it's you have more control over it, and you end up with a better product at the end. So Jason, one thing that helps with this setup that I have on my tablet is I have my tablet on this Ergotron arm, and I'm able to position it however I need. And it makes a huge difference when you're drawing to be able to do that. And I like to have mine at a pretty steep angle while I'm drawing. And it's a little easier on my back and neck that way, and I'm not hunched over a screen all day when I'm drawing. Yeah, having the right setup for working is so important. And what's right for me isn't necessarily right for somebody else, you know. But finding the thing where you're comfortable and you can work, it's like game changing. I think it's makes all the difference. Shadow here. Well, I'll add like one more level of light here, and I'm gonna do that again without going into the screen, just adjusting my color. And here, if I want to get a little more, a little sharper with it, what I'll do is I'll use the lasso tool and mask out my shapes first. And then paint them in that way. I'm not sure if I want to do that. There's a lot of ways you can go when you get kind of to the last layer of detail in your art. But it's kind of cool to have like some nice sharp areas. Some here, a little detail. I still haven't tried a standing desk setup. I've heard they're pretty good if you're putting in a lot of time. I just haven't had a chance. Okay, what I want to do here is I have a couple choices. I could either just come in with like some regular light reflecting back in, or I can go for some sort of a color theme on that reflected light, you know, and then I can work that in, which see which color works for me. I think I want to go with something kind of warm. I don't know if I want to do red. Yeah. What I'm going to do before I get too deep into this, I like to go into my history and then just set a save state in the history. So if I do this and it looks terrible, I don't have to worry about erasing it or anything like that. I can just go ahead and go back to my history state that's saved and start over. Okay. Let's do this. Make sure we're selected here. I gotta select our $sign too, just for the sake of continuity, I guess. Actually, I don't need to select that because that's a little different. Okay, so we're gonna tweak this a little bit. And hopefully this looks noticeably different than the other side of the bag. And that's why I'm doing this on a layer separate. I mean, not on a layer separate, why I have my history state. So if it doesn't look great, no big deal. See, and that's what I don't like about this thing, not having the what's it called layers, the reference layers. Is with the reference layers that error of coloring on the wrong layer almost never happens because you're just staying on one layer and not trying to bounce back and forth between them. But there's not much you can do about that if you choose to work in Photoshop over Clip Studio, which is what I'm doing here. And what I might do when I'm done coloring this is go back in and color hold these lines so it's not just black and with color. But again, we'll have to see what we do there. So now we're gonna move this up a little bit, give it kind of a saturated yellow. Oh, right on. Yeah, I've had this idea in my head for like of the last week, so I'm like I need to finally commit it to paper or it's never gonna get done. And when I'm coloring, I do a lot of zooming in and zooming out. Get in here, get some detail going, zoom out to see how it's looking as a whole. And this could probably use like a little bit of a core shadow here. I don't know. I'll let this light bleed in more than I normally would. And another thing is I should probably save this. Because it's dumb to work without saving. Save this as a PSD. So what we're going to do here is we're going to switch the gradient tool to screen, and just to get that last little bit of light in there. That was interesting. So I accidentally switched this layer to dissolve the blending mode, I think. I'm like, okay, maybe that's something I can use down the line as a starting point. Anyways, let's delete that. So we'll go back. This is our last history save state was here. Um, Added this like kind of gold secondary lighting, which I actually think looks pretty good. So I'm going to save this because I'm going to go back in now and with this eraser and start erasing in a core shadow and see if that looks any good. And if not, then I'm definitely going to retreat back to this last save state. Do like a softer brush here. I'm gonna need to go back and add some more color. Let's do this. At the most, I would go like maybe 11 inches wide. If designs get too big, even on the bigger shirts, they don't look super great. I mean, you could probably go even as far as like 12 inches. Yeah, I appreciate it. If there's anything like you want to see or whatever, feel free to ask. If you want to see what I'm designing right now, I'm live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Odyssey Rock, and you can get there through my bio and see if I can show you my screen. Working on a dye sublimation design. Yeah, dough. I have like a 22. This one right here is a 22-inch monoprice. I also have an iPad Pro, and I have a Huion. I think it's 13-inch. The Huion's really nice. I like the pen better than the monoprice, and I don't think anything beats the Apple Pencil personally, but. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, DJ Tom Tom. Uh, is it a Cintiq though, and what size is it? So DJ, like all of this is like so much just practice. I have very little, what you'd call God-given ability for this, but I would say most of getting good at anything is just perseverance and practicing and just trying to figure out some basic principles and building on those. So we're gonna do this. Make this darker. Man, just every day, and I recommend trying to find other artists that you could connect with who will give you honest feedback. You don't have to be mean to each other, but it helps to have someone look at your stuff and that you trust that could say like, "Yo, if you did X, Y, and Z, it would be much better," or here's some guidance. It's really hard to get good, in a vacuum, I guess, basically. Alright, this is coming along not too bad. So I gotta do this little part right here. Start here again. If I was smart, I would have saved my color swatches as I was working, but I'm not smart, so can't fix that, I guess. So Doe, for this one, I'm gonna do dye sublimation printing, and this will be a T-shirt design, or maybe I'll do something with socks. I do a lot of socks. I'm not liking this so far, so we might have to fix this. I don't know. Man, I'm gonna start having pretty soon, once I figured out, probably some Zoom sessions if I can get enough people consistently interacting with me where I can help you guys and offer some advice, or do some live lessons and stuff. Yeah, just make sure you comment on those videos. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. And it's important to me to know so I know that I'm not wasting my time and wasting your time. Okay, so one really cool trick that I learned a while back in Photoshop is if you want to check the value on your illustration, I'm going to make a layer on top of everything, and I can fill it in with either white or black. And then I'm just going to set the mode to color. And it's going to convert that into grayscale, and then I can make sure that my contrast is looking good on everything. And this is pretty simple illustration, so there's not too much to worry about. But on more complex things, it definitely can get pretty tricky. But I do think this should be darker. And making a black and white adjustment layer above. It's the same thing. It's just quicker for me to do it this way than to make, or whatever. A lot of stuff in Photoshop, Illustrator, all that, you learn it one way. There's like 60 different ways to accomplish the same exact thing. You just do the thing that you're most comfortable doing or most familiar with. All right, so let's do this. Make another layer here. So let's see how this looks if we color hold the lines. Might be cool, might be terrible. What kind of vinyl are you using? If you don't mind me asking. Okay, so we'll make this, we'll color hold this like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and select all of this. And we'll do this in like a dark green. Okay, you're using Caesar. Where are you buying it from? Yeah, I'm gonna color hold this little like whatever string thing a different color just to give it one more level of detail. Local store. Is it it's a vinyl shop though, not like Michael's or something, right? Or like a whatever screen printing shop or sign shop or something. Okay, good. I know a lot of people, when they're first starting especially, end up overpaying for that stuff by getting it at like Michael's or something like that. Okay. Let's go to Adobe Illustrator. I was gonna do a design. We'll see how this looks. nice. And I'm just gonna do the same thing that I pretty much always do on these kind of designs. Get into this appearance panel, make that white, make this black. Copy that, paste it in place. Oh, you're from Houston? Right on. I'm living just outside of St. Louis right now. I'm actually from California, but haven't lived there in a minute. Alright, let's see how this looks. We'll make a blend. Specified steps. I'll make that 50 steps. You're in Texas too? Damn, a lot of people from Texas, I guess. Alright, so let's see that. Let's make the blend. I forgot. I do this, I gotta do these separately. So let's move this guy all the way to the back. This guy to the front. This guy all the way to the back. What's the thing? Oh, Alt Control B. Blend. Blend. We'll export this as okay. And you know what? I got to redo that because I don't think I exported the artboard. And I hope I didn't lose it. Alright, so let's export as. Same thing, use artboards. That's what we do if we were smart. RGB. The average price on a pressed shirt? It just depends on, you know, what you're doing. I like to sell a custom shirt for like $25. And when I say custom, I'm not like custom designing each shirt. I have set designs that I can customize. And then, you know, you can charge a little bit extra for that. Normally about 20. It just depends, you know. Your time is worth something, so you definitely want to make sure you're not shortchanging yourself. And then I like to use, I don't really like the Bella Canvas shirts that everybody's into. I'm a little bit more into, like the Anvil are pretty good, like the 980s. They're also ring spun, but they're a little bit thicker. And that's my $25 ones are one color. Like I said, the design's pre-made. I just change out a name, something like that. And that's for vinyl. All right, let's open this. make a preset? I think I did. Where's my library? Oh, no. Gradients. Nope. Yep. Not bad. I could probably fix that. No, actually. Okay, here's the way I want to do it. Get rid of that. Select that again. I'll put this on a layer and then go in here. My layer styles, gradient overlay that thing. I'll do that one. That way I can make my adjustments in here. Maybe lighten that up a little bit. Oh, right on. I do want to add one more layer here. Add some lightness and separation or saturation here. There's a lot of going back and forth when you're trying to build like a good gradient. I like to push this a little bit more towards the warm side, towards orange. Let's see, move this a little more over here. Let's try this, and let's save this one. We'll call this gold 2. Okay. Do this one the same. Okay. Gradient overlay. that same one. Let's try the. Okay. We'll add a stroke on the inside. Edit, stroke. Inside. I'll make this like what? 5 pixels? No. It's gonna be pretty big. Let's try 8 just to see what this is gonna look like. Okay, actually we'll do these separately. This top one I'm gonna do edit stroke. Make that 8 pixels. I'll make that bigger. Edit stroke 12 pixels. Okay, we'll do this bottom one too. Edit stroke. Make this one 24. Okay. Alright, let's make this a different color just to see what that looks like. Actually, this might look better in black. I don't know. Let's do it in black for now. Alright. I'm going to save this. We're going to just merge everything here. Canvas size. Okay, we're going to change this canvas to 13 by 19 because that's what size our sublimation printer spits out. Move this down. Okay, we're going to go back to our original design. Just make sure we have that saved. I'm going to merge these, copy. Alright. Move that down a little bit. Like that, or maybe move it like that. Oh, actually, yeah, let's do that. Alright, so I'm going to make this smaller. I'm going to make this nearest neighbor. Move this here. Actually, we'll make both of these smaller. I know this is technically not correct, but I don't care. Go edit. Make this a multiply layer. We'll give this let's see, we'll fill it in with a different kind of color. filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Alright, we can give this a blur. Make a mask here. Alright, I'm gonna merge visible real quick. Copy that and undo it. We'll save that. We'll open our mock-up. This is see for the people on TikTok, my design. Hold on. See that. Anyway, so we'll merge this real quick, merge visible, copy it, and go to my mockup. See what this looks like on the t-shirt. Oh, what the heck did I do? Need to copy that one. What the hell am I doing? Okay. Merge visible. Copy. Okay. That's it. So this doesn't show this with my 3D, but that's fine. We're going to see what this looks like on different colors. And this would be the sublimation version, would be more like this. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. YouTube chat, whoever's still in here. Now I haven't seen the new post from Silky about the shirts. Ooh, that might be kind of buttery. Oh man, um, I made the words in Illustrator here, and like always, when I do the text, I just start with plain text, go into my appearance panel, add a stroke behind the fill, and then just use the blend tool with a second copy of that, a little bit smaller to give this fake extruded look. And then here I have, the other day I was making these presets, gradient presets. Hold on, let me make a new layer and fill this in. Making these gradient presets that I could adjust and play with. So I might do a sock design with this, maybe as a repeating pattern or maybe as one big graphic. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. And then the next thing to decide here is whether I want to keep this like this kind of dark, money green for the text, or if I want to go to black. I think the black is stronger. Man, that Etsy cha-ching that came in was for 9 pairs of socks. So, there you go. Not bad. Yeah, I like the black much better too. So here's this, and if I wanted to do this on a black shirt with something like DTF printing or DTG, what I would probably do is go in here in my art, add a stroke around everything. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna try this as a sublimation type thing on white and see how it looks in real life. In fact, I think I'm gonna do that now. I'll send this to my printer. Is that it? See how white I made this design. Make this a little more like 10. Make it 10 and a half. See, it's not a huge design on the shirt, which sometimes kind of sucks when you're trying to sell it, but I think it looks pretty good. Make a couple copies. This might make a cool coffee mug too, I don't know. Or a hat. Possibilities are endless. All right. And if anybody has some questions before I log off, since I'm done with this, we'll make one copy. Print. Proceed. Yeah, I think I might try that also just to see maybe on one of those black coastal business mugs. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna print a shirt for myself right now and see how that looks. Well, heck, thank you everybody who stopped by and watched this live. I'm gonna keep trying to do these as often as possible. So hopefully I have some good ideas for tomorrow. But we'll see you on the next one. And peace. Everybody sins forever. And I say, thank you, Omar. I appreciate it. I'm trying my best to get like to get things going and actually um, make it happen. So I'll see you guys on the next one though for sure. And feel free to ask any questions or something while I'm designing if you have any any questions. So anyways, I'm out. Peace.